Hey, how are you? So, guys, this is the day 18th out of 30 days reading out loud. So yesterday I finished the first book that I was reading out loud. Find your passion, 25 questions you must ask yourself. Um, I was gonna do a second book from this author and the name was Follow Your Heart, 21 Days to a Happier, More Fulfilling Life. But actually I couldn't find that particular book. So I found another one, which is the one that I'm gonna be reading. It's pretty much the same name, the same name. And the one that I'm gonna be reading now is the following. And the name is okay. The name is Follow Your Heart, Finding Purpose in Your Life and Work. This is written by was written by Andrew Matthews. And I guess it's a bestseller. I'm gonna start by okay. Let's do this. Follow your heart. The 10 concepts. First, we are here to learn lessons, and the world is our teacher. Second, the universe has no favorites. Third, your life is a perfect reflection of your beliefs. Four, the moment you get too attached to things, people, money, you screw it up. Five, what you focus on life expands. Six, follow your heart. Seven, God is never going to come down from a cloud and say, you now have permission to be successful. Eight, when you fight life, life always wins. Nine, how do you love people? Just as, just accept them. 10. Our mission in life is not to change the world. Our mission is to change ourselves. So we are here to learn lessons, and the world is our teacher. When we fail to learn lesson, we get to take it again and again. Once we have learned the lesson, we move to the next one, and we never run out of lessons. Lesson 1, Debt for beginners. Lesson 2, Serious debt. Lesson 3, Poverty 1 and 2. Lesson 4, Massive debt. Lesson 5, Poverty PhD. Now, why do I need disasters? Lesson, lessons, living and lessons, living and learning. Something can be starting in something can be staring. Something can be staring you in the face. It's a little bit bigger. When I was 10, my most prized possession was my football. I ate with it, slept with it, and I polished it weekly instead of my shoes. I knew all about football, but in some of this in some other things like where baby came from, I was a little hazy. One afternoon, I was playing in the street and I lost my precious ball. I looked everywhere. I figured some had stolen it. Eventually, I spotted a woman who seemed to be hiding it under her jacket. So I marched up and asked her, "What do you think you're doing with my football stuck up in your stuck up your shirt?" It turned it turned it turned out that she didn't have my football. But that afternoon I learned where baby come from and what a woman looks like when she is 9 months pregnant. Le- later that day, later that day, I also found my ball. What fascinated most, what fascinated me most of all was why, before the age of 10, I had never noticed a pregnant woman, and why, from then onwards, it seems to be surrounded by them. In a nutshell, we reach we reach points in our life when we are ready for new information. Until then, something can be staring us in the face, but we don't see it. Why do I need disasters? The only time most of us ever learn anything is when we get hit over back in the head, over the back of the head. Why? Because it's easier not to change. So we keep doing what we are doing until we hit a brick wall. Take our health for example. When do we when do we when do we change diets and start exercising? When our body is falling apart. When when the doctor says, if you don't change your lifestyle, you'll kill yourself. Suddenly, we're motivated. In relationships, when do we usually tell each other how much we care? When the marriage is falling apart, when the family is falling apart, in school, when do we finally knuckle down and study? When we're about to fail in business, when do we try new ideas and make the tough decisions? When we can't pay our bills, when do we finally learn about customer service after the customer have left? When do we usually pray? When our life is falling apart. Dear Lord, I know I haven't spoken to you since the last time the yogurt hit my fan. We learned our biggest lessons when things get rough. When have you made the most important decisions in your life? When you were on your knees after disasters, after knockbacks, when you've been kicked in the head. That's when we say to ourselves, I'm sick of being broke, sick of being kicked around. I'm tired of being mediocre. I'm going to do something. Success we celebrate, but we don't learn too much. Failure hurts, and that's when we get educated. In retrospect, in retrospect, we usually notice disaster. We usually notice disaster where turning points. Effective, 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 effective people don't go looking for problems, but when they get smacked in the mouth, they ask themselves, how do I need to change what I'm thinking and what I'm doing? How can I be better than I am now? Losers ignore all the warning signs. When the roof falls in, they ask, why does everything happens to me? We are creatures of habits. We keep doing what we are doing until we are forced to change. Mary get dumped by boyfriend AI. Devastated, she locks herself and her bedroom for a week. She locks herself in her bedroom for a week. Then gradually she starts to call old friends and meet new ones. She soon moves house and changes jobs. Within 6 months, she's happier and more confident than she's ever been in her life. She looks back on the disaster and losing AI as the best thing that ever happened to her. Fred gets the sack, unable to find work. He starts his own little business. For the first time in his life, he is his own boss. and doing what he really wants to do. He still has his problems, but his life has new meaning and excitement. And all out of apparent disaster. So so is life a series of painful disasters? Not necessarily. The universe is always nudging us with gentle signals. When we ignore them, when we ignore the signals, it nudges us with a sledgehammer. Growth is most painful when we resist it. Lessons. Some things are beyond our understanding. When a child is born with AIDS, when a young mother is gunned down in a holdup, when a whole village is wiped out by flood, we are left asking why. For these things, there's for these things there seems to be no answers, but on a different level, on the everyday life level, we can find some clues. Have you ever noticed that certain things happen to certain people? Luis gets fired about every 6 months. Frank seems to get sued every year. Jim gets food poisoning on vacation. Certain things don't seem to happen to certain people. Jim never gets fired. Luis never goes to court. And Frank doesn't send postcards from hospitals. Particular people get particular lessons. We can't react to all of these in one of three ways. We we either say, my life is a series of lessons I need, happening in perfect order. The healthiest approach guarantee maximum peace of mind. Life is a lottery, but I make the most of whatever comes along. The next best option offers average quality of life. Why do bad things always happen to me? Guarantees maximum misery and frustration. We are continually being presented with lessons. Unless we learned the lessons, we get to take them again and again and again. Call it a divine plan, call it the natural unfolding of events. It is happening. Like it, like it or hate it, it is happening. Take responsibility of claim you're a victim. Fight it or ignore it. It is happening. It has been happening all your life. Every time your neighbor abused you, each time a salesman ripped you off or a lover walked out on you, there was a lesson staring you in the face. If we are miserable 7 days a week, it is likely we've missed a lesson. When we keep losing jobs, lovers, and money, it is a sign that we haven't been paying attention. As one lady remarked, I keep getting the same old problems in a different pair of trousers. The worst things we can ever say. It's not fair. Well, thank you. I think that's it for today.